Hey, so if you've been following me lately, you know I've been talking about how content is king. And oh, I thought there was a hair on the camera. There's no other better way to share content than on social media. So one of my YouTube channels that I follow, Tips on Acting, if you haven't already, go check them out. They just posted a new video about social media for actors. I actually have not watched this video yet, but I thought I would watch it with you guys and we can talk a little bit about the point she's given, and I guess I can give you my feedback too. I like just right off the bat, she starts with the peace sign.
There's two ways to use social media. One of them is to build a following, and one is to create connections and have conversations with people, okay? Most people pay attention to the build a followers thing, and that's all well and good and important to a point. But the leverage that you get from building connections and having conversations with people is much bigger than the following piece will ever be.
Has she been watching me lately, or is she just on the same sort of hype train that I am? So far, yes, I'm agreeing.
And it takes a while to build a following. So, and you shouldn't do it with, like, a lot of people will do the buying followers things, and that's a big disaster. I don't want to get into that right now. We don't do that. So knowing that it's
okay, so yeah, I want to get into it. So buying followers, here are the reasons why buying followers doesn't work. It inflates your audience. So you might think like, hey, if I buy, oh, by the way, let me rewind for a second. I fell into this trap. Okay. I don't know, 10 years ago or something, I was really into the follower thing, and I would do like for like. I mean, there's a million Facebook pages for like, hey, you subscribe to my YouTube channel, I'll subscribe to yours. And when you're just starting out, that might seem so awesome because you might post one video and that video will only get 2 views and you only have 1 subscriber and it's your mom. And so like, it might feel good right off the bat. You're like, hey, I could spend an hour, go to a like for like page on Facebook or something, and I could get 100 subscribers just right off the bat. Here is the problem, though. YouTube's algorithm goes based off of, what is the word? Interactivity? Like comments, likes, watch time on your video. And if YouTube sees, hey, here's a channel, they have 1,000 followers because you've inflated it with like for like crap. If they see that you have 1,000 followers and you post a video and none of those 1,000 people go watch the video or like it or comment on it, then YouTube's gonna mark that video as a bad video, and then they won't share it out to a new audience. You get 1,000 followers and then no one's liking your YouTube videos. In fact, it's even hurting your channel. I don't mean to go on a rant about it. I'm passionate about it because I fell for these traps. So yeah.
It takes a while to build a following. You know, then you're just going to do the actions that will build a following, and that would be by posting engaging content, engaging with people who comment on it. Follow the way that I teach you to post about creating engaging content inside Social Discover Me. That will help you create following, okay?
So I think Social Discover Me is like her program or something. It sounds like this is a live stream or something she's doing. When she says engaging content, what this really means is content of value. You're not putting out fake like facades up saying like you have the world put together. Like I feel like there's so many life coaches out there that are like 20 years old, you know? Like, how can you be a life coach at 20 years old? As if you have it like figured out by then. I think it's more about documenting your journey and being a real person and putting out content that is valuable and content that is helping other people, instead of content that's like, hey, look at me, I'm so successful, that's why you should follow me.
But it's not instant. Nobody's getting thousands of followers overnight. It's something that happens slowly.
True.
So it's just as important, if not more, that you focus on talking to people, having real conversations with people on social media and beyond. Mm-hmm. You know, and not obsess over the following you don't have. So here's how producers and studios.
Sorry, I don't want to pause too much here, but I think it's really important to respond to everyone who comments on your on your content that you put out. If you guys have ever commented on my videos, I've responded to it. And I think it's because it's more important to me, instead of getting subscriptions, it's more important to me to form a community in which I can be a part of. And so I think that's what sort of the direction she's going about. It's more about networking and talking.
Use that knowledge and information. Okay. They will use it like, you know, if I was casting something, you know, and the studio heads might say, look, we need some promotability for this role. You know, this role, we want something poppy. We want, you know, so we need a name. Okay. So they would say to us, we need a name. We would find an actor of name value. Now, sometimes a name would be an actor who's got name value. Sometimes that would mean.
Just to clear it up, when she says a name, she's talking about like someone, they need help marketing it. So they need to bring in an actor who people already know and who will watch the movie just because they know the actor.
Doing what they call stunt casting, which has nothing to do with stunt people, but has everything to do with casting somebody from a different discipline, like an athlete, a singer, somebody of note that brings with them an audience already that will, you know, people will tune in for. Okay. And so when the studio says to the casting director, we need a name here, or we want to stunt cast this, you know, in the olden days before social media, that was what it entailed, you know, an athlete, a musician, or something like that, or a name actor. Now we can also add into that social influencer media, or actor who has big following. Okay.
I hate the word influencer. I don't know, like I much rather prefer the name content creator, but influencer just sounds like, hey, like I can influence people just because I'm like sexy. You know what I mean? Like, how many sexy influencers are there out there?
So what I really want to stress here is that
maybe I'm just jealous because I'm not one of those sexy influencers. So, and I don't know if the films really care. I think they're just wanting someone who, whether you have a big following because you're sexy or whether because you're actually good at making content, I don't know if they really care. I mean, how many people get cast in films because they're sexy, not because they're amazing actors?
It's always been the case that producers and studios are looking for promotability. That is not a new thing. It's just a new medium. You know, that's it. It's just another type of that. It's nothing new. It's always been that way. The only difference is now you know about it. And now you have the ability to become that on demand. You know, meaning you couldn't become a famous singer, right? Like, or you couldn't, you know, become like, you know, the MVP of some football team, but you can create an audience for your own little self in your own little world, doing your own little thing.
Yeah, but it's still not like that, you know? Like, I feel like if this is really what you want to do, become a content creator, you have to have the same passion towards content creation as you would towards basketball or football. But she is right that the bar of entry is way lower just for creating film and content in general.
And that's a tremendous power that you have in your hands. The mistake that I see in this area is that, you know, if you get into an audition and they go, how many followers do you have? Which they don't often do this, by the way. Usually that's small time producers for small little movies doing it. But if they do that, the worst thing that you can do is go, well, I don't have any yet, but I'm working really hard on it. Right? You want to be prepared with an answer, right? And you want to be proud of what you have. And if what you have is 52 followers, you go, I have 52 followers, and they're the most engaged 52 followers you will ever see. And I love them all. You know, just be proud of it and move on, because understand that there, you know, all things being equal.
I feel like that's a pretty good response. Yeah. It can be sheepish. This goes back to what I was saying, like, don't try to put up a facade that you have it all put together. I think casting directors and audience members for your content are going to be way more interested in the genuine you.
Well, if there were two actors who were identical, okay, not that that exists in the world, but in my alternate universe that I'm creating right here, right now, they do. Okay, you have two exact actors that are exactly the same. One has a following and one doesn't. Okay, they're going to want to cast the actor with the following, because why wouldn't they? It gives them more audience, right? But the truth is there are no two actors that are identical. So that means the studio and the network and the producers are going to have to weigh their options. Well, do I want the actor who gave me the better performance here and who fits in with this role and is better with the cast, or do I want the stunt cast, option here because this person has a following? Well, guess what? That decision is out of your control. There's nothing you can do about that. There's nothing you could have done, and there's nothing you can ever do. They're going to make that decision based on their criteria. Are they trying to, is this a small budget? How much promotion, how much money do they have for publicity?
I don't envy casting directors. It seems like such a hard job to have so many people come in and apply for a job and then only select one of them. Because what happens if you select the wrong person? I don't know. I do not envy that job. And in school, they always said, like, if you want to be better at auditions, try being a casting director for a second, or sit in with a casting director so that you can see actors come in, because it's so obvious right when actors come in. Anyway, how to audition is a topic for another video.
Is it going to really make a difference to them on their bottom line if they can get an actor that brings an audience with them or not? Right? Those are things that you have no control over. These are things that are going on in the background behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. So just know that that's happening. It's actually not in your control. Take the steps every day to continue to build your following.
And this goes for if you have a huge following, it doesn't mean you're going to get the part either, right? I think she's just saying that this is just can be one of the tools in your toolkit as they consider you. Don't
ignore it. Don't obsess over it. Focus on your 3 pillars and have that be a part, in little bites every day, and you'll be fine.
So that was pretty interesting. Like, I agree with a lot of what she was saying, and obviously I'm not watching the full live stream, so definitely go check her out if you are interested. But now let's get to my favorite part, which is looking at the comments. I'm old school. I don't think actors should share too much about their private lives to millions of followers. It gets in the way of their actual work. It's going to get harder for audience to see them as a different character on film or stage. You can be totally private in your social media posts. Like I said, you don't have to post pictures of your dog or your kids. But I disagree with the fact that people are going to be so used to seeing who you are out of character that when they watch you act, they're not going to be able to fall into the story or be impressed with your acting. I think that idea is a little false. Do you think it's positive or negative in regards to casting directors for actors to have other creative venues on the go? A couple days, I asked an actor who had just self-published a novel if he'd like to be interviewed for one of my blog series. He declined, saying he didn't want to promote his book too much and solely wanted to appear on social media as an actor, as he thought casting directors get confused if someone has too much on the go. No, don't be worried about that. Think of The Rock. He was a wrestler. That has nothing to do with acting. And in the beginning, honestly, he wasn't even... Okay, I love The Rock, but he wasn't he wasn't freaking Meryl Streep at the beginning, and he's gotten way better over time. But no, I don't think that you have to be worried about this at all. And that's it. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. If you want more tips and tricks about acting, modeling, and content creation in general, feel free to subscribe. I reply to every single comment on this channel. Yeah, break a leg.